Welcome back to the developer series. We are going to talk about the logical operators. Logical operators are basically a set of combination symbols that can be used to run your logic and compare two variables within your code. So the first one is called equal to because it's a logical operator. So it is used as double equal to in your logic. So it is used to compare one variable with another variable, and basically it checks whether the value of variable A and the value of variable B is same, and it returns a result as true or false. So all of your logical operators would return a Boolean result which would either be true or false. That's equal to, which would basically compare your value between your variable A and variable B, whether that value is same. Then we have AND operator. This is basically to, if you have two logics running together, so then it can give you the result of those two combined. So let's say our logic says A equal to B and B equal to C, right? That's what we are trying to test. Then and both of these need to be true at the same time, or both of these need to be false at the same time. So then we can put an AND operator between these two. If either of them is false, then the result is false, or even if one of them is false, then the result will come out as false. So this is very important to note down when you're using an AND operator. Let me show it here. So if true and true is equal to true, let me write it like this. So, and true and false is equal to false, and false and false is equal to false. So, true and true is true, true and false is false, and false is obviously false, right? So this is very important to understand here, that if one of the statement is true and other statement is false, then the result we'll get is a false result, not a true result, right? So that's very important to understand in our AND logical operator. We'll see the output in a second when we move into the code. Let's just have a look at all the operators and we'll come back to this, all of these as a result. Then the next one is the OR operator. So this one is called AND. This one is called equal to. We can say equal to, or you can say equal to, whatever you feel more comfortable. Usually developers say equal to, or double equal to, whatever works with you. This is an OR operator. So basically, OR operator, what that does is, again, it would be used between two of the conditions. So here, the conditions would be roughly the same. True and true would again in OR would be true. False and false. Sorry, I have to change the operator here. So this is a pipe operator which would come in your, this is close to enter and is above backward slash. So when you say shift and backward slash key, that's when you get this pipe operator, which would be pipe symbol basically, and this is your OR. So 2 times pipe is OR. So true and true is true, and false is also false. So now what happens in this condition? This is where your all OR will define the result. And here it would be true. Why? Because OR says if one of the two is true, then the result is true. And says both of them have to be true. OR says if this is true or this is true, I'll do the action. That's the difference between and OR. Right? This is very important to understand. We'll see the output when it comes in the code, but this is important, and that's why I have written it on the screen here for you. Next is less than. So this is called less than sign, and this is called greater than sign. This is called less than equal to, and this is called greater than equal to. And this Right. Okay. So less than and greater than. So basically, if we can say A is less than B, again, the result would be true or false. Same way, A is greater than B, result would be true and false. Same way, less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. And then the last one that we have is called not equal to. So here, if A is not equal to B, then the result would be true. If A is equal to B, then the result would be false. So the first one we understood was equal to. The last one we are understanding is not equal to. So if it is equal, then the result is true. If it is in this case, and if it is not equal, then the result is true if we are using this operator. All of these operators, the result would be a Boolean value, a true or a false. So let's go back to our developer console and try running all of these operators and see what result we get. And is it the same that we have just understood? All right, so let's go to our developer console. We'll create a new Apex class. We'll call it training session 3. Again, we'll do like we have been doing, public static void method 1. You might be thinking why I'm not explaining all of this to you, and but that's how you would learn development anywhere you go. That's how I learned it. And because it is a step by step process, if I start explaining this to you right now, or if I start explaining this to you right now, you would get confused, and I don't want to confuse you right now. I want you to understand the basics first, because that is very, very important. Once we have a strong foundation, then we can build a lot more on that logic. But if your foundation is not safe, we can't go up higher. So let's build the ground first, and we'll gradually go step by step and build the whole building of our Salesforce development. Don't worry, we'll get there. Let's again create two variables. So I'll create integer a. I'll assign a value of 10, and integer b, assign a value of 2. And I'll also create another variable integer c, and let's give the value as same, which is 2. Let's start with the first one, which is equal to. So what we'll do is we'll do system.debug straight away this time, and we'll say equal to. We'll put the sign here so that we understand what is happening. And then we'll put, so what do we need to do now is put another parenthesis and say A is equal to B. So this particular statement, just this statement, will pull out the result of A is equal to B, and we'll get the output as true or false. So that's our first statement. Second one we'll do as system.debug. And this time, what we are going to do, what was the next thing that we learned? So the next thing that we learned was, so we'll come to and or in a moment, but let's do not equal to first. So let's do not equal to. I'll put the sign for you so that it's understandable what result are we expecting here. So I'm saying A not equal to B. Here, what we can also do is, let's just go with that. I'll come to other logics in a minute. Then we do system.debug. And now we are going to do greater than or less than. So let's do less than. So what is this? This is the less than sign. And we'll say in the parentheses A less than B. So that's our first one. Let's do the greater than, and we'll change the symbol here and the symbol here. So this basically means A is greater than B. The next one, and then we'll do system.debug. And here we are going to say less than equal to. And this is basically means this, putting another space here, plus sign, parenthesis, A space less than equal to B. And then we are going to do greater than equal to. I'm just copying and pasting here. So I'll say greater than equal to, and I'll just change this sign here. It's very important to understand that the equal to will always remain on the right side. You'll just, whether it's less than or equal to, the symbol would change only on the left side. It doesn't mean that if it is greater than, you'll do like this. No, the greater than would still be like this. Right now, in all the places, we are just playing with A and B. So I'm not putting anything else at the moment. So this gives all of these variables here. Now we need to play with and or, system dot debug. And this time we'll say and like this, right? So what are we basically doing here? So we need to put two logics now. So first is A is equal to B. Let's do it that way. So we need to put the whole logic within a parenthesis as well. So and then we do this thing. And let's say B is equal to C. So what I'm doing here is I'll just copy all of this logic and paste it here so that we understand what exactly the output that we are getting is of which logic. A is equal to B. That's one. Then we do. So let's understand what exactly would be our output here. Why? Because it would be easier to understand. So the our output here is A is equal to B? No, this is false. And B is equal to A. B is equal to C. That is true. So true and false would actually be false here. So let's put a condition first, which is both true. How do we do that? So both true. So how can we make it true? The first condition we can make it true by A is greater than B. So yes, A is greater than B and B is equal to C. So this makes our condition true. So true and true here. This is false and true. Let's see what the output comes. I'm just saying the combination here. And this one, we need both of them as false. So A is less than B and B is less than C. So this way, both are false. So that's one of our conditions for and. Similarly, I'm copying all of them and let's change these to or. So we'll just change this to or here, and or here. And similarly, or here, and or here. And also to understand what exactly we are doing, so we'll have to change the string value as well so that we don't miss out on understanding, because otherwise it would be all same. Right now, this is equal to, this is equal to, this is less than equal to, and this is less than equal to. Okay. So then again, we have all of these true, true, false and true, and false and false. So we have covered all of these conditions which we just understood here, and we have written them here as well. So the value here is just for us to make it more readable. The system will not do any calculation on whatever is written here. System will only do the calculation on what is written here. We have put in a couple of parentheses. This is just to explain to the system as to which calculation needs to be done first and then do which calculation. So if, I'll pull one of these out and make you understand what exactly we are doing here. So I'll just pull out Notepad. So if you can see, there's a parenthesis here which puts all of this together. Then there is a parenthesis which explains to the compiler that you need to do this calculation. Then you also need to do this calculation. And whatever is the result of this calculation and this calculation, run an and on that calculation and then give the whole result. That's exactly what we are trying to do here. by putting these parentheses to explain to the computer what needs to be done together. You may write, you may be thinking that what will happen if you write like this. Try writing like this. I'm sure you would run into some errors, but try it once on your side. Let's do again. So we'll go to execute anonymous. We'll put the name of our class. So this is the older one. I'm removing that. I don't want to run that class now. I just want to run this, and we'll do open log and execute. Again, we'll just click on debug only, and that should give our results. So the first value says equal to is equal to false. Why equal to is equal to false is because A is 10 and B is 2, which is definitely A is not equal to B. So which is false, does make sense. Then the second one, not equal to, is true. So it basically says A is not equal to B, which is right. A is not equal to B, which is true. Less than. So is A less than B? No, it is not less than B. So hence it is false. Is A greater than B? That's true. Yes, A is greater than B because A is 10 and B is 2. Less than equal to? No, it's neither less nor it is equal to B, so it is false. That's true. It A is greater than or equal to, A is greater than B. So yes, then it is true. We didn't change the sign here. It should have been this. But like I said, whatever is inside the string doesn't make any sense to the compiler. It is just for our eyes to read and understand. I'm sorry I didn't change the symbol here, but I've changed it now. Then the next one, this is where we are using our AND logic. So A is greater than B and B is equal to C. So here, both of these logics are true. And as I explained to you, the result has come true. In the second statement, A is equal to B and B is equal to C. Our result has come as false. That's exactly what I was explaining you earlier. If true and false combined, the result is false. Then false and false, the result is false. That's right. Then we have true and true, the result is true. True and false, the result is true. And here, okay, so B is, okay, here we did something wrong. So both have to be false. So B cannot be equal to here. Okay, so let's run that again. Let's run our execute again. I'll show it to you 1 second. It's loading here. Right, okay. So now we have done it right. Let me run it one more time with the correct symbols on all the places. Okay, so if you see it here now, so false and false is coming out right. So first one is true and the second two are false. Here, A is greater than B, that is true, and B is equal to C, that is also true. So both statements are true, so this is true. A is equal to B, which is false, but B is equal to C is true, hence the result is true, which is also fine. Here, A is greater than B, which is false, and B is less than C, which is also false, hence the result is false. So in this, this is OR. So in OR, one of them has to be true for the result to be true. For AND, both of them have to be true for the result to be true. So that's basically our understanding of how logical operators work. This is just a way of understanding how they work and what return value we get out of them when we use these logical operators. This is not exactly how what I've shown you. You would use these logical operators in system.debug. You would use them with some conditions, and we'll come to those conditions when we learn when we progress to further videos. These are logical operators, and using them, you play around with your variables and run the logic in your code. These are very, very important, and you need to understand the difference between them. So, what is equal to, what is not equal to, use of and or is also very, very important, because when you write real life code, you would have to run through a couple of conditions together, and that's where and or is very important. And as you can see, if you put and or incorrectly, you might end up with a wrong result. So it is very, very important to use your create your logic very correctly in your code. So with this, I'll wrap up on the logical operators for this video today. Wishing you all the best in your Salesforce development journey. See you in the next video. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Instagram or in the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. You can also book a one-to-one session with me on thetrailmaker.com. There are some assignments coming up on thetrailmaker.com for you, and there are some nice blogs to read on trailmaker.com as well. So check out the website, thetrailmaker.com, and see you in the next video. Have a good day.